Joe, how? Let's start with the injury. Obviously, how is it? Everything now is everything as it should be from your point of view.
With my injury, sorry, you said? Yeah, no, all good now. It was disappointing to have it so soon into the season. At a vital time when there's a lot of games, which is always pushed into the start of the season. So that was the frustrating thing about it. But no, all good. I said fit and raring to go. So looking forward to the next game.
Does it affect in any way your captain's role off the field, as it were, or are you still the man they go to?
Yeah, no, my role sort of stays the same. No matter what, really. Obviously, when I'm playing, I can help influence more on the pitch. But I think when I'm injured or when I'm not picked or for whatever reason, I think I'll still hopefully have the same sort of influence off the pitch. And like I said, I'll still travel to as many games as I can when I'm injured, as long as it's beneficial to my injury. I'm not making it worse, things like that. So, yeah, no, I like to keep myself busy and useful, and like I said, any way I can help, I'll always do what I can do.
How important is that conduit role you have almost between the team and the management?
Yeah, I think it's really good. It's a really positive thing to have. So the new management staff have come in, have been fantastic. I said I've got a really good relationship with them already, and I think sometimes it's good for them to have maybe someone like myself as well to speak to necessarily, but they're really good at communicating with all the lads. So there's a good relationship between everyone. And like I said, if there's anything that needs to be said or discussed or they need from the group, then obviously it's easier to come to one person than a group, which I guess is my role as well. So no, it's good. I think it's good to have a good balance between the two.
How important is your experience nowadays? Because it is a very, very young squad that you've got, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And sometimes it looks okay from the outset, and then, like I said, things start happening, and you realise you may need a little bit of experience, or you may need a bit of advice. I mean, there's nothing. You can have experienced lads who are younger, or you can have older heads as they're younger. But I think this group in particular, we were quite inexperienced in terms of games as well as age. So I think having that experience for myself to help is useful, is good. We've got a few lads who can do that as well. So it's not just myself. But I think having a good mix is a really key component to a successful team. So having a balance. Like I said, I use the youth and energy off the younger boys, and that drives me on and keeps me going. And I'm sure they'll use me when they need to in terms of the help and the experience.
Is it a bit strange in a way now? I mean, you're closer in age probably to the management team than you are to a lot of your teammates.
Yeah, they remind me of that most days, the lads. So as you can imagine, I actually just said, we had a conversation at lunch then, and I said to one of the boys, "This will make you feel old." I played with David James, and a couple of lads didn't even know who he was. It shows how young they are. So no, there can be a real difference in age, but I think my biggest love and enjoyment still is playing, and I think, like I said, having these younger lads who with the enthusiasm of wanting to succeed, wanting to play football every day is something that I said keeps me going, especially. I said I still get invited out for food and things like that, so they haven't left me alone too much yet. But it's nice. It's nice being the older one. I quite enjoy being the one they can lean on if they need to, but I also like still being involved with as much as the stuff going on day to day within the change room, and having a laugh, really.
I think you're closing in towards 250 appearances for Argyle in all competitions. What are your own playing goals now going forward, do you feel?
Yeah, I was just play as much as I can. Last season was so frustrating, missing so much of the season. I think after starting fairly well and feeling really good. So that was my biggest disappointment from last year, was the fact I couldn't help as much as I wanted to and couldn't play as much as I wanted to. So this pre-season I came back almost refreshed, feeling really good, feeling a lot I didn't feel as tired coming to pre-season because I hadn't had that long 10-month season which is behind me. So for me now it's to keep playing as long as I can, as long as I'm helping a team, as long as I'm affecting things in the right way. For me personally is to play as long as I can.
Realistically, what do you think this team can achieve this season?
I think realistically it's down to us in terms of, it sounds an obvious answer, but we can achieve what we want to if we do everything that we know we can do. I think the start has probably coincided with the biggest change we've had in this club for many years, probably the turnover, and not just the players, the management and everything like that. So it was probably not inevitable, because we didn't want to start like that. We had no intention of starting the way we did, but it's almost good it's happened earlier and rather than later. And I truly believe we've got a group of lads who are ability-wise really strong, and if we can build that mentality and know how to win games, and like I said, hopefully we can get to where we want to get to. But like I said, it's going to be a process, and a process we need to keep learning in and learn quicker than rather than not.
Just been trying to do it in my head. Is Tom the sixth manager you've worked under? We've got Ryan, Shuey, Fozzie. Yeah. How does he compare?
Really good. Really detailed. Very committed to being here and wanting to do well, which is the biggest thing I think I've noticed so far. Is I think that the work that they put in, not just him but his staff as well, is like I said, it's second to none, and something that has really impressed me. Like I said, communication wise and people wise, they're really good people. The gaffer's been fantastic, and like I said, that sort of combination together is a really positive sign for us as a club. I think we've got someone here who probably could have gone higher maybe, or he'd done really well last year in the Championship, but he wants to learn himself, but also he's given us his knowledge of a fantastic career, but also now coming into a fantastic coach and manager. So no, we're lucky to have him here, and like I said, he's got that work ethic that I think this club loves and needs and wants to do well and wants to impress. And I think, I said, the longer it goes on, it should be hopefully really successful.
Brilliant, thank you, Joe. Best of
luck.
luck.
Hello, Joe. You said to Alan you want to play as long as you can.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no end date in mind. There's no sort of, when you're thinking about hanging the boots up, you're still fully focused on playing. Yeah,
not in my mind. It may be in other people's, and it's probably spoken about more from other people rather than myself. But for me, I've spoke to many players who have retired now and are still playing now, and for me, it's to play as long as you can. Really, as long as your body lets you, and as long as you're helping the team and being a positive influence on whether that's playing around a group or whatever, as long as that's still there and as long as that hunger's still there, which for me it's sort of ramped up again this year because of missing so much last year, is something that I'll hold on to and play, like I said, as long as I can, as long as I'm fit and healthy and doing a job for the team.
And I know football clubs, there's always change. I mean, that's part of football, isn't it? But there's been an awful lot of change in the last couple of years. How have you found that? How have you dealt that? Because you've been one of the very few constants of what's gone on in the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, that's got to be difficult a bit, because you never know who's going to be here almost.
Yeah, there's been difficult times, but just before this, obviously the last 6 months and what happened, it's been really successful. We've had a fantastic time, and we've sort of managed the change really well, and we've sort of coped with every change that came, and we almost responded really positively, and we kept getting better and improving. And in football, I think in general, change happens. I think historically in Argyle, it probably hasn't happened as much as recently, so that's been a test. But I think it also comes a point where there is so much change and there is uncertainty at times that things can go wrong. But I think that the best thing about this club is the foundations and what it's built on, and who's in charge overall and things like that, and the security that they have here. We have here as a club to bounce back, and change is going to happen, and things will happen like last season, and it's not what we wanted. It was sad and devastating to be relegated, but when you are built on a solid foundation of what we are as a club, when change happens, I think we're in a good place to bounce back and respond. And like I said, the only way we can do it as players is show our mentality and our commitment on the pitch and off the pitch. Like I said, similarly, we the fans want to see us be successful. They don't want to anything else really. So I think whatever we can do, we can only influence sort of on the pitch and things like that. But I think as long as we keep that foundation as a club to keep moving forward, although there might be some steps back at times, I said it's a fantastic club to be at, where some change will happen because the location, everything like that, it will eventually, things will happen. But I think when you're here and you realise how lucky you are to be here, it's a fantastic club to be for, and like I said, we're hoping we can be the ones that bounce it back to where we want to be.
Good luck on Saturday. Thanks
Thank
for
you
your
very
time.
much.
Only one for me. Are you must get up every morning and be more driven. Don't you find as you get older, you're more driven to do well? Do you think that's true?
I do, yeah, and I think the most recent sort of example I've got of that is the Cheltenham EFL Cup game, and I couldn't wait to play. It was another game. It was another game that I was due into my sort of schedule of coming back into hopefully the league games, but it was a game where I said to the boys, like, just don't take any game for granted. I said you get to a stage where it's so nice to play football games, and I said we grow up loving football, and sometimes you can get lost maybe in terms of it becoming your job or etc. But the actual main reason you've always done it is because you love the sport, and you're lucky to be able to do it. And I think, listen, I don't know what the crowd was. It wasn't a big crowd. It's not necessarily a big tournament, but it was a game I was so excited to play in. Another game at home park. I mean, everything like that is something that I find still a thing inside me which excites me. So yeah, no, I still love it.
I better ask you now then. Looking forward to Luton on Saturday?
I am, yeah. It's going to be a tough game. We know what they're about. We know what it's like playing there. We've seen their team. We've got some really good players. They made some really strong signings this summer. So we are fully prepared mentally what it's going to be like. We need to concentrate on ourselves now and put in the best performance we can.
Tom, how good has it been having this free midweek to work with the players?
Yeah, very good. I enjoy it. You know, I love being out on the grass, trying to improve football players. That's a big part of why I went into this role. So selfishly, really enjoyed it. But no, more importantly, we've got some good quality time to work on things we needed to improve on, strengths that we need to develop, and weaknesses we need to get better at. And always nicer when you're doing that off the back of a good result.
And you've brought so many players in, haven't you, over the last couple of months, that they must still be gelling.
Absolutely, yeah. It's really important in terms of that as well. You know, I think the best teams have good connections within that. So yeah, can we start building those relationships in our team to create even more consistency, and this time on the training pitch that we'll have next week as well is it's really important to me. Yeah.
Whenever you talked about Lorne McCabe, you've always seemed to have a little smile on your face. You've had a chance now, obviously, to work with him one-to-one, as it were. What are your first impressions?
Yeah, technically outstanding. He's got a really good habit of trying to pass the ball forward, which is he's one of those midfielders that always seems to have time. Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of when I went to Leicester on loan as a 19, 20-year-old. You know, I was very similar in terms of stature, in terms of attributes, and yeah, it's all about me sort of like what I was saying from a team perspective earlier is keep on developing his strengths and then really look to improve some of his weaknesses, and but he's got lots of ability, that's for sure.
How far do you think he can go in the game?
It's early days. I've only seen him for 3 training sessions, but yeah, he's got super strengths when we have the football, that's for sure. And he's an exciting player. The players have warmed to him straight away, and I think it'll be a very good deal for both parties, this one.
You sort of hinted a little while ago that maybe Bradley Ibrahim might be the most under threat from his arrival, but he's certainly given you a lot of food for thought with his performance on Saturday, hasn't he?
No, I wouldn't necessarily say that. You look at all the top teams in this league; they have 4 number 6s of a high level, and now we're the same with Caleb Roberts in that group as well. So it's good to have that competition. Let's not forget Bradley, Caleb in our 4 that Malachi is deemed as the senior one at 23, 22, 23, Malachi. So yeah, it's an area of the pitch where being consistent is really important. I know that more than anyone. And when you're young, sometimes you go through dips and peaks. So yeah, it's good to have numbers in that position and good competition.
Great result, obviously, against Stockport, but important that you build on it now at Luton. Absolutely.
Yeah, I spoke about last time we took 2 steps forward in a league game and a cup competition. We didn't back that up with a third step forward, and it's really important we have that mentality this weekend. You know, start creating some consistency, and some all respect to the teams that we're about to face for the rest of the month and into October. But it rounds off a period where we've played all teams that either finished in the top half of last season's league or were in the Championship last season as well. Fixture list was mighty challenging up to this point, and it rounds off that period as well.
Do you group the games, or do you look at groups of games, as it were, and try and break it down and then say, right, well, that's Group 1 finished, we're on to Group 2, or do you not really look at it like that? 15
games was my where you can sort of the league table will take shape. Maybe 10 games, but when our first 8 games were against all the top teams, that would be a little bit unfair to judge where we're at as a team. So 15 games will be where you can ask me that question again. I'm sure you'll set your alarms for that one.
Yes, one I was going to ask from or revisit from just before the start of the season was what you thought the differences might be between the Championship and League One. What have you actually found? What have been the biggest differences?
Good question, that. I would say the more direct games in the Championship probably happen 3 out of 10. It's probably 50-50 in League One, where you're either coming up against a ball-playing team or a direct team 5 out of 10 times. I think the quality I've been impressed with. I've enjoyed the different types of challenges that the league has, and like every level above, you get punished more for mistakes. You in the final third, it's a little bit more clinical, but I've been really impressed with the quality of the league, and thoroughly enjoyed the different types of challenges that it has to offer.
Injury-wise, how are you looking for Saturday?
Jack McKenzie, further progress, a couple of weeks away. Connor Hazard, potentially the last game he misses, which is fantastic news. And then Jimmy Patterson has suffered a setback. And then the longer term ones, Zav and Pleggy are progressing down their longer roads.
So how likely is Jamie, or how long is Jamie likely to be out for now?
Yeah, we're probably going to treat that one off symptoms rather than scan images. So I can't give you anything specific, but we were hoping that he'd be back for this game, and he's not going to be.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Best of luck.
Thanks.
Oh, Tom. Jamie, a setback from the calf problem that he had before.
Yeah. So we'll take a little bit more time than we were hoping for with that one. And like I said, it's all on symptoms. I can't give you a specific time. Listen, we're not talking months, but we're talking a bit longer than we expected.
The Tottenham game in the Virtue Trophy is coming up. Is that a potential opportunity for Connor and Jack, do you feel, to play?
We're hoping so. Yeah, I think Connor definitely. Jack McKenzie, we hope it'd be a great game if we could get him available for that. We're not going to put him at any risk, but I think it's realistic. Connor potentially could be involved, Peterborough.
Connor's not going to walk straight back into the team though, is he, when he is fit?
No, like anyone, he'll have to earn that. He's obviously, what he's done at the club previously is a measure of earning that. But Luke has done great recently. I feel like we were really unlucky to concede 2 goals. You know, we've conceded one at 95th minute, 96th minute, and we've conceded a penalty that never should have been a penalty. So, yeah, I think Luke is probably not getting the rewards he deserves recently, but he's looked a lot more assured, coming for crosses, distribution good, and yeah, it's like every position now. I think I've got a little bit of healthy competition in the squad.
Have you had any word on how Brendan Galloway is and when he'll be back?
Yeah, Brendan trained this morning, so available for selection. Probably helped us all that he didn't play away with Zimbabwe. He was nursing something after sort of the Cardiff fixture, and so yeah, he's returned in good spirits, in good health, and he's available for selection.
He didn't play for Zimbabwe for selection reasons, not injury, fitness reasons?
Nah, a bit of
A
both.
bit of both, yeah.
A bit of both. Yeah, I think he's nursing something. I think if he wasn't, he would have played one of the games for sure. So yeah, we've got to manage Brendan through. In terms of fitness, he's had a very successful season up to this point, and it's all about us making sure that he's available a lot more than he's been in previous seasons, because he's an important player to me.
Ben Pepper wasn't in the squad last Saturday. I'm guessing that was perhaps at least in part because of the events, in the week. I presume that was the case. Will he be available for selection this weekend against his former club?
Yeah, and that plays a part in those decisions. Playing against former clubs is something that always brings the best out in people. There was an element of protecting. He was fine, but I've had good experience from previous managers of mine how they've dealt with looked after players in these situations. I thought we all did it really well with Brendan Weirdo, and so there was an element of that. But now, like the other positions I said, we've got Owen Aseni, we've got Tolly, and we've got Caleb Watt, so we've got a bit of depth. I won't call it the sort of depth that Luton have got at the disposal in that position. I've never seen anything like it, but we've got nice bit of depth, so it's healthy competition.
Can I just throw you a few stats about Argyle's away form? Now this is long before your time.
Yep.
This is 5 different managers covering. But the last 49 away league games, Argyle have won 5 and lost 31 and have conceded 93 goals. Now, this is long before you arrived and the current team. Have you got any thoughts on how you and this current team can improve on that record?
Yeah, so there's 2 things there, 2 clear things for me. One is you've heard me talk about the word process, so that is basically performance. How can we get our best performance, whether that's you're performing on the training pitch, the home pitch, in the cup, in the league, home, away. Let's really focus on performance. Let's not think too much about being overwhelmed or it's different, it's a change of scenery. Let's focus on what we can do in that game. The other thing that I'd say to that as well is that there's a level of opposition that are really good. To go away in the Championship, let's not forget, Argyle probably had one of the lowest budgets, the newly promoted team. They were against very difficult opposition. What I would say so far this season is Bolton and Cardiff will be in the top 6 without doubt. They are the 2 best teams I've seen so far this season. They were big tests, right? The manner of the way we lost both games was a bit toothless. And I get that. The Lincoln one really, really annoys me, that you saw me after that game. But yeah, it's something we want to improve, but it's been a big ask in the last 2 years in the Championship, certainly, to go away from home and win. It's not the only team that have suffered from that.
No, the Championship is a very fair point because, as we know from experience, that's a very tough league to be in, and when you're away from home, it's extremely difficult. Do you put any credence to Argyle's away record to the fact just the amount of travelling that the team have to do?
No, I don't. I'm obviously not performing physically anymore, but I don't feel lethargic or anything after those journeys. The players, I can see that they don't look sluggish. The warm-ups, the lads have come in from Bolton, Cardiff, Lincoln, saying the guys look bright in the warm-ups. So, no, don't put it down to anything to do with logistics. I think that we've faced 2 of the best teams in the league away from home. Okay, we didn't show a best version of ourselves. We do need to address it. It helps that we're in this division now to be able to improve that, and we will, and we're preparing to do that this weekend.
Thanks for your time. Good luck on Saturday. Cheers.
Luton's always been a tough fixture for Argyle. It won't be any different this weekend, will it?
No, like I said, it's going to be a huge challenge. They were a Premier League team 2 years ago, 18 months ago. They've got incredible depth in their squad, and yeah, they've had a solid to decent start in the league as well. Got a lot of healthy balance of experience, quality, youth, speed. So yeah, it'd be a big challenge for us, but I think we're just finding form at a nice time.
And we had Joe in before you, as you know. And aside from telling us about the banter that goes on about his age and how he should maybe be coaching still, he said the communication between your staff, the new staff, and the players has been excellent. Is that something else that you identify that it must be a priority for you, to be easily understood, basically?
Yeah, absolutely. I think as a leader, communications. An organisation are probably two of the most important things, so I always try and communicate to the guys, whether that be about on-pitch things or off-pitch things. I use Joe to get those messages through to the players.
Yeah.
He's really important for me in terms of that, and yeah, whether it's individually or collectively, I'd say that I'm quite a good communicator. I've really enjoyed my time here working with this group of players. And I thoroughly enjoy coming to work and communicating with them every day.
I think we can see that as media as well. And the other thing I was going to say, you touched upon it sort of briefly last week, but his return is no sort of you can see that his return has lifted the team, hasn't it? You just forget what a vital player he is at times, don't you?
Yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence that our most organised performances, our least unforced errors performances have come when Joe's in the team. It's something that the younger players can definitely learn off. That communication is, going back to that word again, it is a massive part of football. Being able to be an on-field coach, being able to organise others around you, and maybe not the players that the crowd's eyes get attracted to, but certainly as a coach, they're priceless. And there'll always be a place for people like that in our teams.
I don't want to end on a dampener, but I'm glad you touched on it when you spoke to Chris. Did it gall you a bit that we gave that goal away at the end, last week? We didn't talk about that either, 4-1 up. 4-1 seemed about right, really. 4-2 didn't give us that much credit, I didn't think. Yeah,
I'm conscious of how many goals we're conceding. I felt like it was probably our most controlled defensive performance. I didn't fear that ball being in and around the box. I didn't fear them having possession of the ball because I thought we were so solid. So, I wanted to our defenders to be rewarded for that, and they'll be disappointed. And two, I've lost the league title on goal difference before. So goal difference, every goal counts for me, goal difference. So, I was a little bit annoyed by the late goal, yeah.